Press the go.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
What is happening, everybody? Hello, how are you? What is happening? I'm your host, the Appalachian American. We got a fun, stacked night. We're going to talk about a lot of cool, interesting things, and some not so cool things. It seems like we're going to have a slow burn, I guess, from the start. Just going to be me and my buddy, the author, David Applegate.
Hey, friends and fans, welcome to another War Room. We've got an action-packed show. We've got lots to talk about. Let's hit the ground running, shall we?
Yeah. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff going on. I kind of don't want to talk about this 8647 topic just right out of the gate.
10 minutes. We got 10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll jump, but I do want to discuss that. There's been a lot of stuff over on TikTok about how Republicans screwed everybody right during the middle of the night with the no tax on tips and no tax on overtime and stuff like that. Superman trailer discussion. I think Mission Impossible is coming out this week. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm still in my studio, so that's different. I wasn't expecting to be here, but I'm glad I am. What else?
Peace negotiations between Russia and Ukraine and Turkey.
Oh yeah.
And Bonnie's making more excuses. Well,
oh yeah, of course she's gonna make more excuses. Hold that thought. I need to move. Oh. All right, sorry. If I move it and I'm unmuted, you guys hear a whole bunch of like popping and moving and stuff.
I know a lot of people are upset with Pam Bondi. They're rightfully so. She has dropped one case for another because she can. And this is what happens when politicians try too hard.
All right.
Sorry,
my son's looking for a toy.
Yeah, that's fine. She made promises she can't keep.
No.
We were hoping that she had everything, but it turns out she didn't, okay? Now, yes, the deep state did screw her by suddenly dumping tens of thousands on her. But her latest excuse might actually be somewhat reasonable. She has a Salvadorian man, apparently he's one of the top 3 wanted MS-13s inside the United States. So I think that prosecution is worthy of... Plus, she's also got trouble with the Diddy witnesses. So she's juggling too much. I think they slow worked the Diddy case on purpose to dump it on the, dump it on this administration. They didn't want it to fall under Biden, just in case it came out that Hunter or somebody or his wild daughter was involved with Diddy.
Well, I know that apparently his daughter walked out of the courtroom or whatever.
Diddy's daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't want to believe her daddy was a monster, but when she saw the evidence, it was like she walked out. Yeah. Because remember, there's that odd remark he made about, sweetheart, I can't wait for the day you come to one of my parties. And it's like, yeah, my daddy said that, and I saw what he does at those parties.
No, thank you.
Yeah. I think Seth would have introduced Diddy to his double-barreled friend, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's see. Mission Impossible 7's coming out. I'm excited to see that.
This might be the last Tom Cruise Mission Impossible.
I'm okay with that. I hope it ends on a good... I do hope it ends on a good note. If they do carry it on, that'd be kind of cool, but I don't know who I'd want to see as Ethan Hunt. But I guess they could, spin off.
Reboot.
Else. I don't know how successful that would be.
No, I don't think a reboot would work. I think they'd have to basically keep the cast without Ethan as a.
You know what you could do?
Make him the CIA director.
Yeah. Make him. Well, no. I was gonna say you could recast Ethan Hunt. Recast the whole cast.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would turn out, but it worked okay with X-Men.
See, it worked out. See, one of the reasons why we have so many reboots and remakes was the success of Mission Impossible and some of the early reboots. Now, some of them started to fail. True, the Star Trek reboot, first movie did well, the next lot didn't. Star Wars reboot, first movie did phenomenal. Then,
yeah,
and it did better than all three originals, but then it flopped. I'm trying to think of the third one. I think the X-Men, the first X-Men, everybody was like, wow! And then after that was, Here's the problem. You can't please everybody. But Hollywood is trying to come up with this magic formula where they can have the same audience go to every movie.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand, and I don't quite know. It is what it is, I guess. They're.
You got to remember. Do you remember in the 90s the fact that we had a run of titty movies on television for 15 years?
No.
You don't remember?
Not really, man. I was too young.
Yeah. We had, before comic book movies, we had titty movies. Before that, we had comedies. Before that, we had a lot of, Beverly Hills Cop. We had a lot of police action movies. Folks, every 15 years, the audience grows. The majority of people grow out of their, franchise, I suppose. Basically, yeah, I've seen enough Star Wars. I think I'll go with, titty movies,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
not saying that you're going to outgrow Power Rangers, okay?
Yeah, I'm not.
But I'm saying the majority of people, right? The majority of people aren't going to be as enthusiastic about Power Rangers as you are. And Hollywood does not get that. Now, they tried with Power Rangers, as you remember, all sorts of ways to try and get people back to Power Rangers. They couldn't break that magic mark,
Yeah.
it's going to be like that with every franchise, folks. The MCU is dying from MCU fatigue. But we had titty movie fatigue. We had comedy fatigue. We had police movies. We had cowboy fatigue, okay? We're going to have people going, you know what? I'm sick of chocolate. I want strawberry tonight, you know? As much as I love steak, I'm not going to have steak every night. Hollywood has not learnt that they have to go back to the golden era, where they made a police movie, a titty movie, a comedy, a romance, an action movie, a sci-fi, and all the other 14, down the list, 14 movies a year, one of each genre, and that's it. You had 6 studios humming away 24/7, and we had enough content that nobody cared. Oh, this movie's a blockbuster. I must go see it, and I must get 20 others, and every studio must make only these movies. No, that is the moronic ego of Hollywood who say, I hate romance movies, so you're going to watch my police movies because they're my favorite. And we've seen this also in animation. Now, Pixar has never made a movie before over 200 million. Now, all of a sudden, they're making a $400 million movie. This is clear, folks. Pixar was basically they took Blender, tore it apart, and created this thing called lip syncing. It's only Pixar, Steve Jobs, as much as I think he's a smart man, he's just he was a devious man who just took what that existed and put his brand on it. Okay? We already had on computer animation. He just helped create a better way of doing it with a better computer.
What Pixar movie was it?
It's upcoming. Now, when Steve Jobs created Pixar, his idea was, instead of $100 million movies, I'll do them for $50 million on my computer.
Hey, finally Channel Dad's here. What's up, man?
Hey, Channel Dad.
Almost forgot.
You almost forgot something we've been doing for 5 years?
I just lost track of time.
Wow. Just be like Dr. Coffinails and tell me you hate me.
Had to deal with the chickens, deal with our old dog who's peed in the house too many times.
All right.
Dude, what do you do to deal with your chickens? Sorry, we're just gonna derail this topic.
All right.
Come back to it.
Well, I take out the food and water, close up the chicken door, make sure everyone's in, look for any stray eggs, because sometimes I find them in the run, sometimes they're in the coop. When they were more free ranging, I used to do a head count, make sure everyone's still alive. And then then I adjust the windows depending on how cool it's going to be overnight.
Nice.
And then the dogs are out with me, and I have to deal with the pool filter because I'm trying to get that ready.
So, question: you said you take the food up. What do you have a feeder or?
Yeah, we have a feeder. We have 2 plastic bins. I guess they're feeders. I don't know. They're about 2 feet tall. One's suspended and one's sitting up on top of a block.
Nice. See, we did those for a while, and then I got rid of them. So now I just throw the food on the ground.
Yeah. I know some people do that. Some people do that once a day. Some people do it twice a day.
I do it once in the morning. Throw out a big old. I think we do 10 scoops, but we have 30 chickens.
Oh, okay.
So 10
Chickens
scoops.
need something to peck and scratch.
And then I have
way down the nails.
I've got a waterer that hangs.
Yeah.
And so I just fill that up in the morning, and that usually lasts me all day. I refill it every morning, and they get fed once a day.
Yeah. Yeah, they sometimes knock things over. Sometimes it's Especially when I pick it up, say around 5 o'clock, because sometimes one of them will be near empty, but it'll have, they'll scratch stuff into it, and I'll dump it out with whatever's in there, and they'll go crazy. Since I would give them scratch during the day, starting to feed them cicadas now because the cicadas are out and they're starting to die off already.
Oh, really?
Or if I catch one.
Now, we let's see. Let's see. Hang on, chicken.
We got Brood 14. They should be up by you too.
Brian, chicken talk with Brian Brain Muffin on X. Okay, I was tweeting that out. So we like my nightly routine. Well, right now I've got to get in there with like a screwdriver or something. I've got one of those electric doors that open and close on its own. And right now I'm having an issue because we had that big rain. Something's clogged in there. I just got to take a screwdriver or something and just kind of clean it out. It's probably just gunk and poop, probably. But it's set to close at 9 p.m. So what I do is I've got lights on the outside of my coop and all around the run to keep predators away. And then I have a light bar that's inside the coop. And that way I can, when we're cleaning it out and stuff like that, I can cut it on and just see, very bright. So what I'll do is I'll cut all the lights off outside, porch lights, patio lights, everything. And then I'll cut on the inside chicken coop light, cut the outside run off. I've got everything hooked to Christmas tree remotes.
Oh, nice.
So like at Lowe's, when they do Christmas decorations, they got the remote control for the Christmas lights.
Right.
I took three different ones. One set for the inside coop, one set for the outside coop, and then I have one hooked to heat lamps. So when it's cold, I can just flip the heat. I don't have to go outside. I can just stand at my back door and flip them on. So that's extremely nice. But I've got a fence that runs between mine and my neighbor's house. It comes from my garage. I've got a drop cord that runs along the fence and then up a tree over into another tree and then down into the chicken coop. So that way I've got electricity out there.
Okay. So is your coop behind your garage then?
No. Well, no. It's I didn't have it when you came up here. When you come up my driveway, like in front of my garage is where we all parked our cars and whatnot.
Right.
Okay. It was a kind of across the driveway it's between my house and my parents' house, across the driveway from the garage.
Okay.
So it's a clear spot.
Because me and Collector Express, we parked on the other side.
Yes.
Like straight across from your garage, your driveway.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find me a good picture off my camera and see if I can. You'll recognize it once you kind of see, I guess. My work van is where you and Collector Express parked, and I'll send that to you, I guess. And send. I'll send it to you, David, so you know what we're talking about.
I think I've seen your coop. You've showed it before.
Yeah,
I've seen a picture of the coop, but I just didn't know the context of where it was sitting. I know you had between two trees or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent it to y'all. It's to the far right in that picture.
Isn't it near where you had that big stump stored out? I remember that.
When I did the stump stream and turned my camera around. Yeah, when I'll send you the picture.
Oh, okay.
Both of y'all. There's
that was empty when you did the stump.
Well, there's a playground that's in the picture. The tree was directly behind the slide. Yeah. And up against my garage. And I cut all that out and cut it all down. But the coop is to the far right of the picture.
Yeah, by the truck.
Yeah.
So was that patio there when I visited?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The playground was not. It was just kind of grassy.
Right.
Kind of rain. Like it. Wait, was it? It's always been kind of dirt because there was a big gigantic tree out there, and it kept the nutrients from the ground. Nothing could grow.
Yeah.
So
big trees. They don't just shade out plants.
So there was really nothing ever really grew right there. I really wanted to put a fire pit and some like nice chairs exactly where the swing set was, but once you have kids, I guess all that kind of goes out the window.
Until you kick them out.
Yeah. Until I kick them out. But yeah, that's it. That's where
Dad, I'm a kid. You're 35.
Yeah. Get out.
So cute.
Go away. Yeah, that's my patio. That's it's where we hang out and do stuff. But yeah, my chickens are real close, and I've got 2 of them that kind of get out on their own, and they have done it so much that it's kind of like, okay, well, whatever. Mm-hmm. I just let them go. Now, if they get too far away, I'll stop them, but for the most part, they stay pretty close. They get in that patch of grass right there across the driveway and just kind of pretty much sit over there all day. The dogs have gotten to the point, my one dog doesn't bother him. My neighbor's dog kind of will like sniff them and stuff, but whatever. I've got my 22 sitting by the door because there's a den of foxes next door.
Oh yeah.
Across the street, on the other side of the road, there's a den of about 5 different foxes out there.
Stick to the pigeons.
Yeah. So, but
you got them that close and no hillbillies taking care of them?
Well, some people are watching them. Now my bees, the bear got a nose, and I know it's illegal to say this, but my uncle's going to take care of it.
Yeah. And that's why we brought the food up, because we used to leave it in there until we had a bear knock over the coop, one of our old coops.
Oh, dang.
And took it.
I had a let's see. We had bought several more ducks. This is back when we had ducks about a year or so ago. And we had them, but by the time we went to the beach, they were still not trained to go in at night. Well, it probably would have been okay, but when we were at the beach, my grandfather was watching, opening, making sure they were put away and stuff like that at night. The door would close, but he would go up there just to make sure no stragglers were left out. Well, the ducks couldn't figure it out, and I told him, I was like, dude, it's not worth it. Just don't, I was afraid they would scratch him up. And my granddad, he's in his 80s, so he ain't got no business chasing around a bunch of ducks and whatnot. So I told him, I was like, you know what? If they're too dumb to go in, just let them sit outside. They'll go up underneath the coop and they'll be all right. But there was a couple days a week that my granddad had to go to work early because he still drives a truck. Like he drives a box truck. He drives to and from. It's for Penske. He'll deliver a truck. Like if you need a truck for moving, he will bring you the moving truck and then he'll go away. Like if you need like a utility truck kind of deal.
Box.
Yeah, like a box truck or something. He'll bring you the box truck and then you do what you got to do with it. And then he'll come and pick it back up.
Does somebody take him away? Or
yeah.
Okay. No, he just hangs out all day.
Right? No. No. So like his primary job is to, if they need one in Blacksburg, because there's Penske locations all over the place.
Right.
If Penske in Blacksburg says, hey man, we need a truck that you guys got here and I'll trade you one of these trucks for this truck or whatever, he'll run up there and grab the other truck and bring it back.
So
he doesn't really deal with the customer's aspect very much. He transports trucks to and from places that need it.
He's moving inventory around.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's pretty much what he does. But there was a couple of days where he would have to leave early. So we told him we got this big feeder. I was like, hey man, just fill the feeder up and let it sit. And that way when the chickens will come out in the morning and then they'll have food. Well, that was attracting the raccoon.
Oh.
And a raccoon got all 4 of my new ducks. So, which was a blessing in disguise because I will never do ducks again. They are disgusting. Terrible. So
yeah, They got a mean poop.
Well, they're just gross, man. Everything they do, they poop in their feeders, they poop in the water. I mean, dude, they're nasty creatures.
Oh, they are. I don't know.
When I got one, my buddy commented and said, "Dude, ducks are disgusting. I will never do them again." And I thought, it can't be that bad. Whatever.
They turn nice ponds into.
I will not have ducks ever again. We did it once. Won't do it again. Yeah, it was awful. So yeah, we got rid of. Well, I mean, the raccoon got it, but then the next night I came home and got rid of him. So, I saw him. We come back from the beach, and we got in late that night, and I saw him climbing up the tree. So the next night I got out there, and I made sure everybody was put away, and then I took a scoop of food and put it right in the middle of the run, because I've got an open run. Mine's the top's open.
Right.
So he come about, I don't know, I did about 9:30, and about 10 o'clock he coming down a tree. Go get him some food. As soon as I saw him get the food, pow! I shot him right in the head.
That was 22, or do you something bigger?
It was 22.
The varmint rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Mine, I would just switch out the chamber and use a 22.
Yeah.
Well, at 50 yards, it drops the same as the other one. So, 50 yards, 500. Yeah, 50 yards. I don't remember now. But yeah, well, that's when we first moved here, and we went to the museum just to kind of see, and the old ladies that were running the museum, that's what they were telling me about raccoons and groundhogs, and make sure you get you a rifle. You're going to need a rifle out there. Yep. And
we got rats the size of raccoons. Raccoons dogs.
Well, we got snakes to take care of most of the rats.
Yeah.
And apparently we've got I'm hoping he's not living up in the rocks at the end of our driveway, but I've seen it, and the mail lady has seen it. And there's a big old black snake that usually going downhill. So what I'm hoping is it goes down toward the lady that's keeping horses near the bottom of the mountain, gets lunch, and then goes back up the mountain somewhere. And snakes only usually eat every few days anyway. And he's just using my driveway as his highway. So, but it's like, as long as it minds its own business, I don't care what kind of snake it is. But if it tries to mind my business, I don't care what kind of snake it is. It's going to be a dead snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mind your own business and stay out of my sight, and I won't be going wicked on your.
Well, because even if it's non-venomous, he could still bite one of the dogs and get infections. It's like, and if it's one of these, if I see it in the yard and I go out there and they take off, I'm not going to chase it.
Yeah.
So, but
so
I'm hoping it's just a rat snake. Sometimes rattlesnakes, some of them, they're a little bit darker, and it can be hard to tell. The copperheads are pretty bright.
And they smell
celery, right?
What is it?
I heard they smell like celery.
Huh? Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
I always heard it smelled like. I always thought it was cucumber.
Well, maybe it is cucumber. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But you smell something you wouldn't expect. Be looking.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, and most of those, unless they think they're cornered, they leave you alone. But
copperheads, they're just basically like most snakes. They see anything above their eye line, they're usually backing off.
Right, give them a space to escape.
Yeah.
Give them a route, just get out of there, and
I mean, tree snakes, they're dumb. That you give them a perfect route to escape, and they'll go and bang against the wall for half an hour.
Yeah.
But they want to go up not out.
Oh yeah. What I don't know is I don't know if we have any water moccasins around here though.
I would imagine so. We do.
Yeah, somewhere in the creeks.
Yeah.
The streams that have a lot of water.
Yeah, we have them. We have them around here pretty good.
So, because I know, when I used to live in Knoxville, they're in the mountains. When you go out tubing, you got to be careful. I did see we were tubing down from, I guess that's Townsend area, and saw one. It was just swimming. It was about maybe 20, 30 feet away, and it was swimming down and got out on the bank, and one did on its business. And we're like, okay, keep floating.
Mm-hmm. Keep floating.
Yeah. That was over 40 years ago. That was the early 80s sometime.
Now, before you popped up, we were talking about the Hollywood self-destruction, how they're doubling down. You know how they reached 200 million on the budgets? Now Disney's gone for 400 million.
I'm convinced they're doing it on purpose. I think they got that BlackRock money and
I think
burn it all.
No, not burn it all. I think they're distributing the wealth because they don't want to. They hate the shareholders. They want to drive them out.
Oh, so everyone that's involved with it gets their piece of the pie, but there isn't a profit to share with the shareholders. Yeah, I could see that.
And then the share price crashes, and they go, "Oh no, it's a fire sale."
Yeah.
Oh, what are we going to do with all this cash we stole?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's how all that stuff was going on in Ukraine, right? Send all that money over there, and it kicks back, and somehow through channels, some politician gets a $4 million donation to the re-election campaign.
Then they pile up tens of millions of dollars of this worthless currency, like they did. See, once upon a time, America had this Great Depression, and the banks piled up tens of millions of dollars that were absolutely worthless. And then by the 1950s, that $1 billion of US dollars that was worthless was suddenly worth $1 billion US.
Yeah.
Hey, have you guys heard any? All right, let's switching back into like current events and stuff.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard about the Mexican beauty influencer that was executed on a live stream?
No.
I saw she was shot in her hair salon or something.
Something like that. Just according to local reports, cartel leader Double R got mad that Marquez was getting expensive gifts from her followers, so he decided to execute her.
Oh,
member of violent something cartel. Cartel leaders also accused of killing Venezuela model in 2012, who was found in a sewage canal.
Oh, Mexico, that's what you get for electing a female president.
A couple hours before she was shot, Marquez said someone had tried to deliver a gift to her, and she joked that they were trying to kill her. Maybe they were going to kill me, or they were going to kill me or something. I'm just reading it how it was wrote. Before she passed, she said she was being threatened. Said if anything happened to her, her ex-boyfriend was to blame. Dang.
I would fire.
But Mexico's safe. Just remember that.
Yeah.
The Dollar Vigilante said so, and Max Egan, they both said, hey, no, Mexico's safe. Look where I am.
Dang, dude.
Well, that's just
glorious Mexico and their glorious revolution, you know?
All those are just Trump lies.
Yeah.
Right, conspiracy theories.
Hey, speaking about Trump lies, what about new Air Force One?
Oh.
All right. I got to let the
dog Lape, come back because I want to hear that.
Yeah, I will, but I'll make sure he doesn't pee in here again.
Yeah, I know.
He's in here pacing around.
I think it's rich that Hillary Clinton herself comes out and says nobody gives a gift like that without expecting something in return. Well, thank you, Hillary. Now let's talk about all the gifts you got, such as that helicopter.
Yeah.
You people.
Were they in office? Were they in office when they got that?
Yeah, that helicopter was in office.
Really?
Yeah, they were in office. And they flew around in it for 13 years before they sold it. What about when she was Secretary of State?
Yeah.
Bill Clinton got that 500,000 from Vladimir Putin. That sounds familiar.
Somebody posted. Hold on. Somebody posted this on Twitter.
Go ahead.
Oh wait, shoot, wrong button. Percent screen.
Shoot, share.
Here we go. Share screen, share.
Thinking.
LMP would approve.
No, he'd say, not that hoe.
All right.
Yeah,
guys, blow up Qatar yet?
No.
No.
So what do you think about Trump getting a new plane?
Well, my understanding is
Trump didn't get the airplane.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it's not a bribe. I mean, all that other nonsense. But my understanding is 10 years ago, it was requested from, I guess it would have been a 747. I don't know what kind, from Boeing to get a new Air Force One. And they haven't been able to deliver in 10 years.
Yeah.
From a standpoint, so the positive side of me is saying from a standpoint of trying to seal, a deal, and the fact that the 747, the Air Force One fleet, there's more than one, they're all falling apart practically. It's sad that Boeing can't provide anymore for whatever reason. They're probably just, even though the government's been paying them, they have yet to deliver one. The cynical side to me is like, you better make sure that thing is very well, you better tear it apart.
Yeah.
For bugs and, anything that shouldn't be there. Let's put
bugs
it that
and
way.
Flaws. The big one is flaws.
Right.
Because you can't run a bomb detector for flaws. You need an engineering inspection for that.
Right. You're going to do radar scanning and check for fractures and everything else.
Yeah.
But I think it shows how much of a scam Boeing is anymore, that they can't provide aircraft efficiently.
No, according to Boeing, they are behind on orders because they had an emergency recall with the 737 MAX, and they had to put a whole lot of orders on standby, and that pushed back everything because they had to go through, hundreds of aircraft and do physical inspections.
They created that mess.
They did.
They didn't listen to the engineers.
Yeah, and the engineer, they fired the engineer who pointed out the problem, and then they even tried to sue him for speaking out publicly. Yeah. So it's not like they didn't know. They even 86'd a witness.
Well, when you have a company that's founded and run by engineers for quite a while and is successful, the moment a bean counter is put in as president, that's the turning point, and it's just downhill from there.
Mm-hmm.
It happens with every company. Look at Disney. The bean counters, they're ripping everybody off.
Yep.
$177 million for coffee cups. I wish I had that contract. Here's your paper cup, Mr. Ruffalo. It's literally paper. Origami. Folded by a Japanese woman. So don't you complain, Mr. Ruffalo. It's exquisite art.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is, it's, like I said, I don't see it as a bribe. I do see it as a, and if it turns out that it's in good shape and there's nothing wrong with it and it's not bugged, it would be a very huge step in normalizing relations with the Arab world.
Okay, but what other leaders have gotten like gifts like that? And I keep saying gift, but it's not. I mean, they gave it to the government. They didn't give it to Donald Trump.
Right.
There are gifts. There have been gifts over the years, but nothing that big.
Right. But you said something about Hillary Clinton got a helicopter.
The Clintons got a helicopter. And I'm waiting on Google to actually stop filtering results about Clinton helicopter. All right, try this. Okay. Did Bill Clinton receive a $17 million helicopter for Saudi Arabia? In mid-2025, it was claimed that Clinton received a $17 million gift from Saudi Arabia. While it's nowhere near the $400 million gift, the helicopter from Saudi Arabia was at the end of his presidency, and he continued to use it. Not a single Democrat has anything to say. And fact checkers claim it's false, even though there's photographs of them, there was news articles on it. But of course, you know the left. Everything gets memory hold when it comes to the Clintons and their corruption.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about it. I was too young when they were in office to really recall stuff.
It was a parting gift from the previous king to Bill Clinton. They were friends. It was a personal gift, not a government gift. He used it and sold it. There's even photographs of it. But because the media and their memory hole system, they can just run around saying, no, he never did.
Yeah. Now, I guess we've gone on a little long. So, what about 8647?
I don't think Pam Bondi's going to do anything.
Yeah, I don't think so.
She's proven herself too weak.
I think it was a publicity. Because he has a book coming out, right?
Yeah.
I think this is been the attitude of the left toward Trump. We saw this in the first,
Yep.
We had 2 movies out about assassinating Trump. We had Kathy Griffin. It was Kathy Griffin.
Allegedly, that's a third.
The comedian. Yeah. The comedian, holding the head of Trump. So I think it's just going to be being thought, hey, this is going to be funny. This is going to be awesome. I can get, look at all the stuff they've been getting away with for years, right?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of complaining, but not a single arrest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then it kind of got people's attention, but okay, fine. He got a visit from the Secret Service, but he's not plotting nor endorsing.
Social media account. Not like nobody on the left. So it's not just Comey. I've seen people issue direct death threats against people on Twitter, and nobody gets there. They don't even take them down. They don't even ban them. They don't even give them a day, a ban. You post anything nasty like you post the word hard R on Facebook and see how long you last.
Right.
The left, Facebook, I don't trust Elon anymore because X, there is something wrong there. There's still that 2-tier system of hear no evil, see no evil. When Comey should have been banned immediately. Nobody on the left has been banned on Twitter. Nobody significant.
They won't.
Piker.
But they won't, and they won't do it.
Off Twitch for posting, reposting.
They won't ban them, so
no. And Chuck Wolseley's called them out and says they're hiding. Pam Bondi's hiding under a desk.
Probably.
Is that figuratively or literally? No, she's hiding on Fox News, David. Don't you know anything?
Yeah.
She'll go on Fox News and say how tough she is, but she won't do anything about it.
No.
I've been waiting for her to prove me wrong for quite some time, and she hasn't done it yet. So,
Nope.
People have called her out, and she's just made excuses.
Oh, it takes time.
I said before. Look, I said it before, and I'll say it again. Definitely, she got caught off guard when they dumped those 10,000 videos on her lap, because every one of them has to be viewed and make sure that she cannot reveal a protected witness, okay? Because there are protected witnesses in this case. But the problem is, she should have known they were going to do something like that.
Well, that was stuff they went and fetched. But she protected some of these scallywags when she was AG of Florida, so I don't expect her to do anything when it comes to
that's
Epstein.
what people are saying, that she talked enough talk to get herself in the door so that she could just keep us on hook with talk until everything falls apart, because she does nothing behind the scenes.
Yep.
Let's see.
I can agree with that.
Now, apparently, there's a MS-13 member who's been arrested. Apparently, they're like really high up too. Some claim he might even be their number 3. I don't know whether that's true or not. But there's been some sparring that a judge, Paul Exis, has excoriated the Trump administration over the hearing. He's a Salvadorian migrant, but he's been alleged to be a member of MS-13. He was deported from Maryland to El Salvador. He's not a low-level mutt, okay? He's not a low-level mutt. He is, the Democrats just won't let it go, So they're having this case. They've got to have a hearing. It's more theater to pander to the base than anything, right? So the donor class are worried, right, that if the news cycle isn't full of garbage, then it'll be full of their antics. I think they're sick and tired of their antics being publicized. Whether it's
but see, that's the only thing that happens is this stuff gets publicized and then people start paying attention to it and then nothing ever happens.
Yeah. Singer walks around topless. Does she get...
and when it's the other way around, the Democrats don't delay arresting Republicans, even when there's no evidence of anything.
Okay, here's a classic example. The law they created to get Trump over Eugene Carroll, when that law was used against a Democrat, they want it thrown out now as unconstitutional.
Well, the guy who created it.
Yeah, and it was the guy who created it. Yeah.
So there you have, there's an example. But you can go back in the 90s, in the 80s. You had Republicans, that would get questioned about something in especially around Iran-Contra and several other things under the Reagan. I was going to say was the big one, because that was a bipartisan. That was bipartisan. Okay? Right. But there were some things even with Bush and Reagan, and in the 90s, or even
it wasn't just Bush and Reagan though. It goes back to Carter.
No. What I'm saying is the even when George W. was president, there were some people that got arrested, held in contempt of Congress. They get arraigned. Yeah. And so the charge that makes the headline of the paper is so and so accused, so I don't remember the guy's name, but there were several of them, accused embezzler, blah blah blah, found, and what they really end up being found guilty of is some process crime, where when they talked to one FBI agent, they said they had a red shirt on that day. And then 4 months later, they talked to another FBI agent and said, I think I had a blue shirt or a red shirt with stripes. And that's because that's different. And that's what they'll get them on, right? They don't get them on the crime that they are claiming they did, because they never did it. But that doesn't make the headline of the paper. All people see is that they're doing that. But when it's the other way around, Republicans will have to make sure that it's like there's no guarantee of conviction. You got to start processing people, but they won't do it. They won't do it. Yeah, the process is the punishment, but they won't do it.
Yeah.
over and over and over.
It's like how they punish Trump over and over again with their process crimes. You said something mean, so we're going to prosecute you and make it sound like you did something else.
Do you think that it's true that they have taken former FBI Director James Comey into custody by U.S. Secret Service? According 2 hours ago, Alex Jones posted breaking: former FBI Director James Comey taken into custody by U.S. Secret Service.
It's a formal thing. Okay, allegedly escorted him, according to the Independent.
They got he's interviewed by Secret Service.
Did he?
Apparently, yes.
Which I knew was going to happen.
Getting interviewed by Secret Service agents.
But I don't see any news. Alex was on his show 20 minutes today, and Comey is the only thing they talked about for 4 hours. So I stopped watching.
Yeah.
And he they went to some special report, and they come back and Chase Geyser's in the chair. No explanation. And then there was like a video in the next hour.
What time of the day was that? Because a lot of times he doesn't do the last hour.
No. This was first 20 minutes of the show, of the first hour.
Wow. Okay.
He's in the middle of a divorce case that he doesn't talk about. His wife has put his soon-to-be ex-wife, the second one, has put two restraining orders.
I thought he settled that case.
Why? What happened?
Violence.
Yeah,
drunken violence
by his ex-wife.
Not that I know of, that it's still going on.
That sucks.
So I think, although the video that they had him from the car at the beginning of the second hour, he was in a t-shirt. So I don't know. He just left. He didn't blow up at the crew first. He just left. And that's literally all I finally, because I watch it because someone posted on BitChute 20 minutes after the end of each hour. And I stopped. I was like just skipping through, they took calls from X, but all they were talking about was 8647. That was it. They didn't talk about anything else. And I'm like, it's like 3 days ago, Jones started his show. I think it was 3 days ago, 2 days. I think it was 3 days. So at the very beginning, I'm not beginning the news. I'm going to make an effort to get to news. And then within 3 minutes, he talked about himself for half an hour.
Okay.
And I'm like,
I got the story coming up here. Okay. With a certain case that we cannot talk about involving $1.5 billion. Okay. Alex Jones and his wife had an argument, citing discord or conflict of personalities as the reason for his second 7-year marriage becoming insupportable, according to the documents obtained by News Corp. Okay. Erica Luff, this is a couple of days ago.
Okay.
Filed motion in court on the same day. The judge granted him separation that they can't go near each other. Petition for divorce has been heard. Apparently, she is contesting the prenuptial agreement that she signed. That's why it's dragging out. But originally there was a settlement, but because he can't afford it, because of his bankruptcy, he can't afford to pay the settlement. So she is challenging everything, calling him a delusional man, a little man, little penis energy and all this. She's going off the deep end, and she can because, nobody will stand up to women. That's the problem.
Yeah. Stunning and brave.
Stunning and brave. She can
stunning, so brave. Say it right.
So
stunning, so brave.
There you go. That's better. Better than mine, definitely.
But yeah, basically she's been stunning and brave because
I don't know what to think anymore, because all these people, isn't Russell Brand going through some kind of another allegation thing?
Yeah, I saw that where he got.
They're charging him with offenses under the Survivors Act, isn't it? They're doing the same thing, survivors of sexual assault.
This chick, see, I don't know nothing about it. My wife, she likes she likes Russell Brand. She listens to him just about daily. But you know, he's got a lot of stuff that he talks about, and I think he's right on the money when he talks about you know, they're only coming after him because of what they were on, you know, what he was on to.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So
with the royal family.
Well, that and talking about COVID and all that stuff.
Oh, I don't think they went after him over COVID. I think they tacked that on. I think he was spot on with the royal family.
Well, he was one of the louder voices discussing about, like, hey, I think this is a scam. He was one of the first.
Yeah. He was one of the first, basically, to call out Andrew, basically saying they've circled the wagons. They're going to do everything they can to protect him. They know he's guilty, but the establishment don't care. I've seen it. I've heard it many times before, and I think those were the words that got him. That it's not just Andrew, okay? That it's the head of the BBC. It's the head of the Bank of England. It is the head of all these big media organizations. They all get together and they do nefarious things to women, and they all laugh and joke about it. And because he used to be an inside man, he's getting punished for leaving the flock.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the worst thing you can do. That's how you end up shooting yourself in the head with 4 different guns.
Or in the back with a shotgun.
Yeah, or that one guy, was it a sheriff or something that knew something about Hillary that supposedly shot himself with a shotgun, then hanged himself?
Yeah.
They find him shot in the head with a shotgun and hanging, no gun nearby, and they called it suicide.
And then what's even worse is they make a TV show where they feature that very same murder. And then but they portray the victim as a black man. They say, this is a conspiracy, cover up by the man.
Yeah. Though, I mean, this is back in the 90s when they were had special the special prosecutors against Clinton, the Whitewater deal.
The guy was alleged to be Chelsea's real father.
Yeah. But you had to make Google.
He kills himself.
Yeah. You had people who would never talk to Ken Starr. Ken Starr, a Democrat, by the way, not a Republican, because they knew the price of speaking out was self-deletion.
Yeah.
And the Whitewater scandal, there should have been Whitewater alone was enough to put Hillary away for 40 years.
But here's the thing: the accountant.
That's how deep that scandal went. She ran it, not Bill. Bill is he's like Biden. He's just a talking head.
He couldn't tie his own shoelaces.
No, he was a womanizing scoundrel, and they knew they could control him with that, and that's all he's there for.
That and a little baggie of back in the day. Back in the day, he was he was Mr. Pot.
And he was, as governor, was helping when George H. was running the CIA, and they were running drugs, the Air America and all that. They were landing in Arkansas while he was governor because he was part of it. This is why the Clintons and the Bushes are tight to this day.
They are cousins, apparently, through Hillary side of the family. Bill and Hillary are related, But here's the thing, and a lot of people don't want to believe it, but allegedly there was a guy who was just basically mad dogging for Hillary, and she took him on as her accountant, and he approached her about the Whitewater redevelopment, and apparently she got a whole bunch of people to come up with $169 million. And that $169 million to this day has never been accounted for, and that not one soil turnover had occurred in Whitewater, and the Clintons never owned that property, ever.
And she was the only one that made money, too. She was the only one that made money off that deal. Supposedly.
And the accountant went to prison, and a year and a half later, apparently because he was so smitten with Hillary Clinton and the thought of never seeing her again overwhelmed him, and he hung himself. And he wasn't found for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Right. In a prison. You've got to be kidding. There's a check every 30 minutes.
Yeah. But see, even if so, a lot of people that Pam Bondi should be going after know this to be the case. They're not going to say anything, but she's not going after anybody.
No,
and how many days after how many days after Jan 6 was it before the Democrats were arresting people?
On that evening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They were going hard after it.
And there were people who never got a trial. They were held in jail for 4 years and never got a trial, which is against the law.
And then released. Yeah. Pre-trial detention, then released.
They would move them around. Yeah.
Or they reduced the charges to 6 months and said time served, They were trying
to get people to crack. There was no leadership. They were trying to hang something on Trump that Trump
they were trying to get people to falsely confess that it was organized by Trump.
And Trump did it all. Mm-hmm. So
okay, Russell Brand 3 days ago was released from prison. He is out on bail.
Yeah. Okay. I thought I saw a video of his was today or yesterday, but
yeah.
Is he still living in England or did he move?
He's between the two countries, I believe. Okay. But I think he's still an official resident of England.
Okay.
But I think he's living in California.
Oh, that's
now, isn't he with a new family in California?
What do you mean?
Laura Gallagher or something. Married 2017 with 3 children.
Well, I think because I know that he and Katy Perry broke up years ago, and I thought he got married several years ago.
He did. Katy Perry. They married in 2010, divorced in 2012. He got remarried in 2017.
Well, but yeah, when he started talking about the COVID nonsense, that's when he got booted off of YouTube.
Yeah, but
started doing stuff on Rumble.
Yeah, that was just his deplatforming. Okay.
Yeah.
From YouTube. Yeah. That wasn't why they arrested him.
No. There's all kinds of sexual allegations.
I mean, all the allegations stuff are popping out because he is discussing stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's going down the same rabbit holes that Tucker Carlson and others are going down.
Yep.
They're going, wait a minute, this really is connected. You mean the Council on Foreign Relations and the WEF and the
Yep. All these unelected organizations.
Yeah.
They're all interrelated. They all have family members. We had a recent revelation that shouldn't shock anybody, but 9 out of the 10 news anchors are all married to Democrats.
Yeah. What do you mean the CIA gets Mossad and British intelligence to do operations in the U.S. on the U.S. soil? That's not.
Yeah, to violate because the CIA.
They didn't do it. Someone else did it.
No,
they don't know what you're talking about. They must have misunderstood.
Yeah. What do you mean these 3 dancing people? What do you mean dancing Israelis? There was no dancing Israelis on 9/11. We never deported 3 Israelis.
Oh, there were all kinds of dancing people.
What do you mean these Israelis carried out assassinations on Palestinians in Dubai? That never happened.
No.
Even though they came out recently, Qatar said Israel's not interested in peace. They tried to kill the Palestinian negotiators. I mean,
they funded Hamas too. So I mean, you can't. If your boogeyman decides, you know what, I'm tired of fighting, screw this, you got to go create one.
Yeah.
But
they're saying that Qatar funded Hamas, but yes, that Qatari bank was Israel money.
Yeah. I mean, with these 3-letter agencies, they don't want to see their budgets cut. If we arrest all the bad guys, we'll be out of a job. It's just like all the social programs, right? If we fix hunger and homelessness, then what will we do?
Here's the thing about Russell Brand's allegations.
Dang.
Russell Brand in 2007 was on a comedy show for BBC, right? He was an announcer. The former host was Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile
what a
asked
scumbag.
to meet Russell Brand. They'd never met before, apparently, but on the condition that Brand brought his sister with him. Now, Brand does not have a sister; he's an only child. And he says, "Well, I got this personal assistant. She's the one who meets, greets, and does everything." So, I think because they basically that they're trying to pin the Jimmy Savile assault in 2007 on Brand's assistant onto that Russell pushed her in front of him.
Could be.
You know what I mean? But she was set, and he said, she's the meet and greet, speak to her, we'll set up a meeting. But apparently between 2006 and 2008, Brand received complaints. Then again, those complaints, they were settled 2014. But you got to remember, and this is a big problem in society, is sex regret. Women will do this all the time. They'll go to a party, they'll take drugs, they'll wake up in the morning, and if there's a bad breakup or they suddenly decide that you're not good enough, they will basically put on their spiked heels and dig in that you drugged them.
Yep.
There are so many mean people out there who just don't want to believe that women are not made of sugar and spice and everything nice, that they're a bundle of spite waiting to be ignited.
Yep.
Now, this comes back to the Victorian age and what they called romanticism. People don't understand. Romanticism has got nothing to do with love. It's about spreading the Roman worship of a certain female body part. Can we say VJ on? They're VJ worshippers. They call it the cup of life. There's a whole bunch of paintings in the Vatican on it. Have you heard about that, Late? The vaginal paintings in the Vatican?
No.
Can't say that I have.
Da Vinci, the cup of life.
Yeah.
Apparently they're worth millions of dollars and never seen the light of day, never been put on display. But apparently Da Vinci and other artists, they all took a turn at painting Venus in different positions, naked.
Oh, okay.
Venus, of course, as you may or may not know, is the one of the trinity of the mythos cult.
The goddess of love.
Yes. Trinity, Aphrodite, and Eros.
Yeah, Venus was the Romans, right?
Yes. Aphrodite, the Greek, and then you had Eros, the
Romans pretty much stole everything of worth from the Greeks.
Well, have you guys seen all the baby stuff that's going around the internet where people are turning into babies?
No.
Oh, I've seen the one with Pat Gray and the Glenn Beck. That's hilarious.
I'm just posting one, and it's Ryan Kennel and Drunk 3PO. And the stuff that Ryan Kennel's talking about is not something we can play on YouTube. I just reposted on X if you guys want to check it out. But it's it's spicy. It's funny.
Something nice about Trump.
Good stuff. Good stuff. It's funny. I don't know. Did you found it?
Yes. You retweeted release the Kraken, release the McCracken.
Which one is that one? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
He said the R word and the Q word.
Oh my god, I can't. It's too funny. Sorry, I'm not playing it on YouTube.
Yeah, I need to find that. I want to know how do they do that. What are they using to do that?
You're
Some
dumb,
AI somewhere.
retarded.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Anybody interested in Superman movie? I know we all talked about we're gonna go see it, but I'm pretty excited. But apparently everybody, there seems to be more stuff coming out each day about how the budget sucks and it's not doing anything. Like
people are saying it's mid. It's not a bad movie, but it's not an exciting movie.
yeah.
Are they rebooting them again?
I'm still pretty excited.
No, the test screeners, they said it wasn't offensive. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't James. It could have been anybody. There wasn't anybody's stamp or approval or anything that they don't want to. Look, they don't have anything bad to say about it other than it's not a James Gunn movie. I think they were expecting another Guardians of the Galaxy. So don't go in expecting a James Gunn movie. Go in expecting basically a generic DC movie.
Yeah.
Be mildly entertained.
I mean, are they rebooting it yet again?
Yes, it is a reboot.
Lord.
It is not a soft reboot. It's a hard reboot.
Ugh.
I'm interested to see Guy Gardner. That's Nathan Fillion, right?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. I like Nathan Fillion. I like Nathan Drake.
Definitely cool elements of the movie. It's, again, DC, I think Warner, once they get rid of these childish executives whose only joy in life is trying to destroy everything that's not Harry Potter for some reason, and then they go back to destroying Harry Potter because they want to use it as their vehicle for race swapping and gender swapping and rebooting society and say, but everybody's black, It's diversity.
It was Kang's dang know it.
Kangs.
Yeah, about that. Oh, let's see.
Yeah. I think it's funny that Cenk Uygur is now the bad boy because he came out and praised Trump because Steve Witkoff said Israel's not interested in peace. We can't get a peace deal in Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Israel, 6 hours after Steve Witkoff left Israel, Israel attacked Hamas again.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it last week? I mean, the rumor, or when Netanyahu was visiting, was that this week or last week?
Last week.
The rumor is that Trump basically read him the riot act.
Yeah.
Stop. You go and start another war, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Which is what we should have been.
Yeah.
When it was known in congressional testimony that LBJ got Israel to attack the USS Liberty with Egyptian markings to try and start a war with Egypt, that should have been it. We should have said, you do this again, and it's not within our first interest, you're on your own.
Hey, Anime Night.
What's up, Anime Night? What are you up to, man? You had a link, I think, didn't you?
Yeah. You should have a link, bro.
Yeah.
Check your email, man.
I'll be honest. I did the email in such a rush. I hope I got everybody on it.
Yeah.
Let me check.
Look.
Dude, I am so sorry, bro. I came home from work. I had to work late today, which sucks on a Friday and had me all frazzled. So I came home, I jumped in the shower. Everybody was starving, wanting to go get something to eat. I jumped in the shower. I said, hey, I got a few minutes. I need to get the show set up. My apologies, dude. I am so sorry. I jumped in the shower, got cleaned up, got dressed, ran in here, jumped on the computer, bang, bang, bang. And I was having issues with Rumble, so that kind of took up a lot of my time. And I just sent it out, and I didn't really get a chance to make sure I had everybody. So that was my bad, and I really apologize about that. So sorry, dude.
Yeah, check your Twitter.
See me scramble to get a live stream. Yeah, dude. So I like to try to. I know that my family likes to go out to dinner and stuff on Friday nights. It's cool. So I always try to get home and get everything set up. There he is. I like to get everything set up before we go out, so that way it has time to sit on YouTube and X and Rumble and like pop up for people. So I was like, let me just do that real quick. And then Rumble's going through this thing. I don't know if anybody else has had an issue, but like they just forgot my stream key and stuff. So I had to go back in and through StreamYard join my Rumble account. I had to delete everything and then re-add Rumble. So I don't know what's going on with Rumble, but they need to get their stuff together.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
But hey, we were talking about the whole Comey thing. Comey posted that 8/6/47, which
Oh God.
We all think that we heard about Disney seeking $400 million into one Pixar movie, and like Steve Jobs would be rolling in his grave because he created Pixar to cut costs, not to basically be another bloated studio. He tried to create a profitable animation company in the United States, and he was successful. So that's what.
Dude, my buddy Julius is at SmackDown right now, second row.
Sweet.
Right on, brother. Julius,
those seats are pricey as hell.
Dude. So, all right, Julius is a friend from the Podcasting Dead. He's been on that channel quite a bit. I met him in person at Justin Lloyd's wedding, which is the main guy from that channel. I was invited to his wedding, so I went and hung out with them and got to meet them guys. And they live about 3 hours away. That was fantastic, and I sat and I socialized with him for a little while, Julius. So congratulations for going to SmackDown there, Julius. That's cool. Hey, you guys talk for a few minutes. I gotta go help my wife with something. I'll be right back.
All right. What's going on, man?
British yeah, go ahead.
It happens. I understand. I rush my streams too, like just rushing to get ready. I think I hit my head on this chair probably 3 times trying to get it all ready to go and fighting through headaches and all that. So I get it. It happens because I usually think I'm missing some people, and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to send the others. So I'm scrambling through trying to get the StreamYard link. I'm like bang, 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 bang. Yeah, Comey is a fucking idiot who should have been arrested right there.
Could have had his account bounced, but he won't.
Loretta Lynch is she even alive right now? Is she alive right now? I haven't heard diddly squat from her.
Penn Bundy's
she was on Fox News today. What do you mean? Come on, that's all she's supposed to do.
That's what she's supposed to do. Yeah,
she's a Fox News contributor disguised as a attorney general.
Oh God.
There's always that possibility she is, but yeah. What's the other one? Heard about Ironheart.
Yeah, we went over this on Nightcast, both me and Joker. It's a boring comic book, screaming ripoff, and
with a washboard character.
It was probably the most failed comic I have ever seen from Marvel.
It's the second worst. It peaked at 35 and fell to, by the end of the year, it fell to 283. The worst one is the 10th reboot of Carol Danvers.
Oh,
but yeah, it's the second.
I remember my stepdad telling me about that
number
one.
2 on the failed list.
Oh,
Yeah, she's number 2 on the failed list. So you got Miss Marvel. So you got Captain Marvel, Ironheart, and Miss Marvel on the bottom of the trio of Ree.
Yep.
Yeah, she's
I feel like I have nothing against the actress here. I have nothing against the actress.
No, hold on, not the actress. The character is such a genius. She overloads a basic electrical panel board. She's such a genius. She has to steal because she can't somehow figure out the money to basically, wow, I got this tech job and I leveraged. She couldn't figure out how to get the money to buy a basic bitch bot, you know.
Meanwhile, Tony Stark used glue and a shoestring to build Stark Tower. He built a robot in a cave in 6 months, and geniuses can't do it in 2 years. But look, I have nothing against the actress. I feel like her talent should have been elsewhere. Like with more meaning, like a more meaningful role where she can get her launching point and get noticed a bit better.
She hand molds so-called ink. This is the stuff that I really hate. If you can hand mold armor, it ain't going to be invulnerable to a tank missile, all right? If you can basically hammer it, basically tank missiles. Well, I think a tank missile qualifies as a hammer.
This is equivalent to this, like a paper plate, a paper bowl. This is the equivalent.
Yeah. What's up?
If you can hammer that armor out, you can basically come up to her with a hammer and go, zoink.
We're talking about Ironheart and how big of a train wreck it is.
Ironing board.
Dude, I have no want to see that, man. Like, I don't even care.
It's a reread.
Okay.
It's a real comic book.
Okay, I still have the downvotes available. 169K up, 283 down. Not 283, 283,000 downvotes. It's not as bad as Disney. I mean, Snow White got over 1 million downvotes, but I mean, it's up there. It's just so bad that people don't even bother to downvote it.
I've got one of my coworkers, a good buddy of mine. He watched a lot of the Disney Plus stuff. We were talking the other day, actually. Well, today and yesterday, a little bit of both. Just a whole bunch of, hey man, did you watch this? Hey, did you watch this? Hey, did you watch this? I'm like, no. You know what? I haven't. I don't care to. It sucks. It all sucks, and I don't want to watch it. Like, there was nothing good. I mean, I watched some of Loki, but I kind of like fell out of it. It was unentertaining. I watched. What did I watch? What all did I watch? I don't even remember. I watched a bunch of stuff and was just like, this isn't fun. I don't care. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird.
It just happens. Plus, with everything going on, it's like, yeah, this movie is. I'm ready to see the reports. I can see the reports already. A box office disaster, a $500 million loss, and and of course the Disney shills and the writers are gonna come out the woodwork pounding everybody's a racist because they don't like they don't like a black female character lead. No, the issue isn't that we have nothing against the actress. We feel like she should have been in a different movie with a better role and material to work with. Here, it's like Disney. It's like Disney just doesn't care anymore. They'll like literally drive a dump truck of money and dump it on your house and say, "Star in our
But then
movie."
they do this scene where they're playing rap music and she's like dancing with all the money raining down on her. Now, I think there's some things the actor said that is absolutely off key, and she is up there on the nose with supporting this blackwashing bullshit. Okay, but I'm saying I don't care who played that role. Okay, could have been any black actress. It would have been the same results. It's a scripted event to basically rage bait you, to basically rub your nose in it, that they can take anything they want and turn it into garbage and then feed it back to you. Okay, this is some egotistical maniacs. And he's white, by the way. The guy who wrote this is white, although he's Jewish and says he's not white, but he just basically is rubbing your nose in it because Disney gave him $200 million and he probably pocketed $100 million. This is Bob Iger and his lunatics looting Disney's shareholders, basically driving the company's value in the ground. Look what they did to Ubisoft. They do this on purpose to sell stuff to China, okay? They want to destroy America and they want to make sure that they did it to you and got away with it.
Pretty much.
They hate you to such extent. And they're basically, as we said before, the moment they attacked the USS Liberty to start a war, that should have been it. That should have been, Gulf of Tonkin event,
Well, that was just one of the avenues, right?
Yeah.
And you have other entities that are at play here, but they're all drinking from
Netanyahu and people like him are puppets of much bigger, nastier people.
But they're all drinking from the same fountain.
Power. Yeah, sorry, Blake, but I'm just going to say, people like the WF, the government has the power to pick up a phone and say, delete, and they're gone. Yeah. And who's going to care? Who's going to weep if Klaus Schwab or his replacement gets a bullet in the eye?
Yeah. Or we accidentally fire a cruise missile that goes off course and blows up goes to Davos and accidentally self-destructs over the pavilion that they're in. Yeah.
Or they're on a yacht and it sinks at sea.
Switzerland's not going to do anything about it.
No, but you know what I mean. You remember remember that French guy who had all those allegations, and he walked out of court, and a week later he's on his yacht, and it sinks on a clear day.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, freak storm.
Yeah. Freak storm. There's always a bigger fish, man.
There's always
a bigger scumbag.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And people have pointed this out. The whole point, right? The government is supposed to be able to counter these things, and they're not. They are not doing anything to counter any of these abuses going on. Instead, they're enabling it. But the thing is, Shank said, it didn't start with Trump. It's been going on for 80 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, at least.
No, but, in his eyes, he blames everything in the post-war era from basically Truman onwards,
Yeah.
We can't accept that, we can accept that interpretation, even though we think it's Wilson onwards, but, let's just say half the people in the modern era have basically been puppets of the donor class, and they have sold their soul, whether they be left or right. There's no such thing, you look at the Tories in England, they're Lib Dems, they're not Tories, okay? You look at some of the
Republicans. Or you look at the Conservatives. Yeah, that is the Tories, right? That's the Conservatives, supposedly.
It's Conservative Party of England, yes.
Yeah. No, and I think in many ways, post-World War II, some of that stuff has become more noticeable. Eisenhower tried to warn us of it. Both Kennedy and Nixon kind of are of a similar mindset, and they were both removed. So it's, yeah.
Well, Nixon was actually, there's a documentary that came out, and there is something in the disclosure that basically Nixon went to the head of Congress and said that I don't buy this story about lone gunmen. Is there anybody I can ask? Because obviously there's no point asking the CIA; they'll just repeat the same story. And he was basically said, if you touch this, they will get to you.
Yeah.
Well,
and according to Roger Stone, Nixon once confided in him about, the difference between him and LBJ about wanting to be president. It said we both wanted to be president, but I didn't. I didn't. How did he put it? I wasn't willing to kill somebody for it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I wasn't willing to kill for the job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, and I cannot confirm this, but they wanted to get Nixon the day he humiliated Michael Douglas's mother. She ran for Congress, and he humiliated her as a communist. And Hollywood has been out ever since that day to get him. The knives were out. But again, if I was president, I would think I had the power to pick up the phone and say delete and put it down again, and that problem is deleted. Okay?
Well, some of them do, but you have to be part of the party.
Yeah, but I think that's...
look at what some of the generals wanted to do with the Cuban Missile Crisis. They were like, we need to strike Moscow now.
Yeah. Well, that was a bit idiotic, because... And look what they want to do in Ukraine. The only reason why they want Ukraine is so they can put missiles in 6 minutes striking range of Moscow to basically bully Russia for the rest of their lives. Yeah. They're not interested in peace. They're not interested in democracy or diplomacy or anything like that. No, the establishment are bullies, and the government should basically be able to pick up the phone and say, right, this guy, we have a problem. Find out everything about him and take him to court and tear him apart. But because the establishment is just so obviously corrupt and has been, there are judges, there are families of judges who've been on the mafia payroll, and there's still, some of them are still judges today that have never been disclosed. They have, what's his name's book, from the Prohibition. They have the book, the account,
Hoover's? J. Edgar Hoover?
J. Edgar Hoover had the Mafia book and all the judges, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And did he arrest one? Not one judge has ever been taken out. And basically, and this is the problem, because once you get one, you look at Harvard. Once they got one liberal into the Harvard admission boards, within a few years, Harvard was hard left. They replaced everybody. They used every bullying tactic in the playbook, from sexual harassment to mean tweets, to basically oust people. It's been a coup, a soft coup, but it's been a coup.
Yeah.
And Trump should have a list of names, and every day we should be seeing a judge or somebody being rounded up and put on trial. But it hasn't happened. And people are starting to notice. People are starting to say it's not just Pam Bondi, but it's Harry Potter light in Congress. It's
Johnson.
Yeah, he's a
Speaker Johnson. Yeah. Well, I find it interesting in the Trump administration that the two people who are doing their job the most are both former Democrats.
Yeah. Tulsi Gabbard, she is at least referred at least 6 cases we know of to DOJ.
Yep.
Kath Patel has sort of done some work, but nothing major.
Yeah. And
but the
RFK
biggest
Jr.
one is RFK.
Yeah.
And he has done, like, he has said, this is what I'm doing. And bang, bang, bang. He said, right, this is,
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's been fighting these guys in court for 40 years. So he has all the goods. So he knows what boxes, he's got a checklist. He's just going down it.
Yeah, but I mean, you think Pam Bondi would have the same thing, but no, she's, and same with Kash Patel. He's not a novice, okay? He has the names, he has the goods, he has the boxes and boxes,
Well, and then one of his who's the guy that's the former? He was Secret Service. He was Bongino.
Bongino,
yeah, who also has all that, but hasn't done anything.
Well, that's what I said. They haven't done anything significant. Sure, they got an NS13 guy. They got this upcoming Diddy case, but that they inherited. But there should be at least a dozen cases a month, for the next year.
And then we've got, photo op babe, Christy Nome,
who's done absolutely nothing.
She just shows up for the photo op.
Yeah.
Did everybody else leave?
No, with Commerce what's the Commerce Secretary? At least he came out and said the same. He said the right thing. I like what he said. He says, when we announced the inflation figures, they laughed at us. Yet people forget, right? People forget. Okay, what was the announcement of the figure? I think 3% growth.
Right, something like that.
Don't forget. Biden had 3% growth, okay, but he had 4.5% inflation. So when you discount the growth by inflation, you say, wait a minute, there was no growth. It was negative 1.5% to the GDP, but they inflated all the prices to make it to, and that's how inflation works, right? Cover up.
Yeah, and they laugh at us because it's like, oh, inflation doesn't exist. Then why is McDonald's charging almost $10 for a Big Mac?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Climate change, goofball. Don't you know anything?
Speaking of climate change.
Greta
is screaming, how dare you in Antarctica for the ice packs growing. They're still trying to sell us
for a second or two, I thought you said Greta Thunberg glued herself to the NASCAR racetrack and protest was just stop oil. I would pay to see that, actually.
That would be pretty funny.
She's apparently switching to Gaza now.
Oh, no.
He's becoming a pro-Palestinian activist.
Oh, no.
And a refugee advocate.
Oh, no.
And another supposed war.
Well, Israel's announced that they have the mask is off. Israel's announced that they plan to rule Gaza. So the mask is off. The mask is off.
Didn't they say that a year and a half ago?
Yeah, but they were in denial then. But the mask is off. They made it official policy.
I don't know. I very similar to what I am with the Ukraine stuff, where it's like supposedly all these people are dying, and yet we keep seeing videos of nightclubs full of people. And
oh yeah, but okay. Here's the thing: those nightclubs where you see all those Ukrainian women with all those men are Polish mercenaries. There's 50,000 of them there's 50,000 of them. And that's why the Russians, but the thing is, the Russians have been targeting the hotels because that's where they stay, but also the SBU has been running intelligence operations out of those hotels. So, yeah, there's been some target assassinations.
The interweb said that all these Jews were relocating to Ukraine because they want to steal the country.
Zelensky has issued 10,000 visas for permanent residencies to Jewish settlers, but they haven't come to Ukraine because they're afraid that Russia is going to target them.
Well,
but yeah, Ukraine. Ukraine spent all this supposedly fighting a war, yet they're spending all this money refurbishing hotels and building villages outside of Kiev, and Russia keeps blowing them up. So there's something going on that Russia knows, that America knows what Ukraine is up to, but won't say. But I say it's replacement theory 2.0. I covered this story that Zelensky has basically said he wanted to get rid of all the Christians in Ukraine. He wanted to get rid of all the foreigners in Ukraine. He wants to turn Ukraine into a Jewish country. You know, all these things that he's publicly stated that American media won't even cover. Heck, I think these Ukrainian ultra-nationalists are nothing but a false flag. I think they're another Patriot Front. I bet you if you look deep enough that all their names and all their birth certificates all were printed on the same day on the same printer.
Is that the group that goes around pretending like they're in 1940s Germany?
Yeah, they go around, but they don't fight. But somehow they're not patriotic enough to actually fight in the war, but they run around in uniform. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely another Patriot Front. All their IDs come off the same. All their laminated IDs come out of the same print office on the same day.
They're taking blood oaths with each other, but they're not really doing anything.
Probably.
We are not doing anything other than some nasty business behind the woodshed.
Yeah. Right. Well, Zelensky's a role model, and we know what he did before. He was
playing the piano. Yeah,
playing the piano with his wiener.
That was the cleanest thing he did.
That was Hey, but the most honest thing he said was when he ran for president in 2019. Ukraine is so corrupt, we ask our neighbors for money and we don't intend to repay it.
Oh.
Honesty. Yeah. Finally. Why is that front page news?
No wonder he got chosen by the CIA and installed.
You mean installed by the WEF and the CIA? Yeah, the Council of Foreign Relations. Yeah.
Yeah. CFR.
Basically, he's I say he's a Mossad agent, that he's been a quiet sleeper under the guise of comedian, because how many comedians around the world are Jewish and Mossad agents? Because they travel a lot.
Well, he sure likes the nose candy, so hey, who knows?
Oh, he's been photographed at least him and Macron.
And I have seen pictures of him with his double, so that's pretty wild.
No, the real Zelensky, the one we see in public is the double. The real Zelensky's a cokehead. No wonder Hunter was in Ukraine for so long. That, and it's the cheapest country in Europe for hookers.
Yeah,
probably.
But Ukraine is a mess. It's the internet. It's the if everything. If there was a sewer draining in Europe, it's draining into Ukraine, and if there's a sewer in Russia draining, it's draining into Ukraine. Okay, everybody's been draining sewage into that for hundreds of years. Okay, it's not new. Okay, when Poland wanted to exile people, they sent them to Ukraine. When Russia wanted to exile people, they sent them to Ukraine. Ukraine was having wars and revolutions. The Russian Revolution may have finished in 1917. It didn't finish in Ukraine until 1935, when they took the leading communist and shot him and announced the end of the revolution. Because even though the communists had won, they were still fighting. I mean, that's how bad Ukraine is, okay? They have just... I think there is some credence to the idea that the past has left a mark on us that is so deep that it's going to take hundreds of years to unburden ourselves of this human stain, this stain on our souls, basically, from all the past crimes and misdeeds. I'm not saying one race or any one group or even one family, but there are those who embrace the darkness and those who don't. but I'm saying that there are countries that are absolutely stained by their history and still carrying out the same mistakes. Ukraine's just one of them that was exploited by, I would say, by everybody. I don't think. Now, I'm not saying that Putin is a nice guy or an innocent guy, but if you took away Putin, then, I think you'll discover that Putin is the least offensive Russian leader, in a long time, and that Russia is just so stained from hundreds of years of attacks that they just can't trust anybody. And you're going to have to take that into account, and nobody is. Okay,
yeah.
If Europe wasn't so aggressive, probably Russia wouldn't be so aggressive. Europe's feeding its own destruction right now, and Putin has pointed that out. And people like Macron are just so incredibly narcissistic. They think they deserve to rule, that they just, and his supporters, they don't care who's in office, as long as it's not their opposition, They don't care how bad Macron is. I think to some extent, some extent the what is it? Who's responsible is just pretty much down to the voting public. If the voting public want change, Reform in the UK, Lemurian, Papen, and all these others need to be given a chance.
Lape, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay,
we're here. Don't worry, I'm
I'm about to pass out. I think I'm gonna jump off here. If you guys wanna keep going, you can.
I'm fine.
If not, I know it's morning time for David, so he's wound up, ready to keep going.
I'm sorry. I sent you a message earlier ago, and I totally forgot about it. Trump did an amazing thing for a vet.
What did he do?
A 104-year-old veteran said that he was celebrating his birthday, wanted Trump to appear. Now, Trump was in Qatar, so Trump made a message and sent it out.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's
but
cool.
Guess what the vet said? I voted for you. I want to vote for you again and again. So with that, shall we say au revoir?
Yeah, I'm ready to pass out, dude. I'm tired.
It's cool.
Yeah. Tomorrow morning, I have just loaded in the old Red Dead Redemption 2. I think we're going to hit back in for a little while because it's been a hot minute since we played it, and I kind of miss it. So we're going to do that in Coffee and Gaming. It should be a good time. Feel free to check everybody's links out after the show.
I hit 4K public hours.
There you go. Good job, man.
Now I just got to focus on the subscribers, but I'm relaxing tonight.
There you go. But check out all of our links down below. Brian Lape does beer reviews and all kinds of cool stuff, and we're live Friday nights and Saturday mornings. So feel free to hit that subscribe button. Come on back and hang out with us. I think that's all. Everybody good?
We're good.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys have a great night. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Good day, sir.
Later, dudes.
Good night, Jim Bob.
Hell, I got to go.
Peace out.
Burn in hell, New World Order. Fuck you. Fuck you, New World Order. Fuck you, Bill Gates.
I love you. You gotta do better than that. I love you.
Mm-hmm.